Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report, episode 370. Man, what an eventful morning. That was pretty cool. I don't know how many of y'all were actually watching the news. You probably only caught it if you were watching Newsmax or Fox, because guarantee you the Yahoos over those liberal channels won't publish it at all. But my hat's off to Sharon Simmons, the DoorDash grandma that was just talking with the president, unscripted, and that was so cool. I don't know how many of y'all saw that, but that was awesome. He answered about 10 questions. It was all about no tax on tips, and she's been a DoorDasher since, and it was cool. She wore a red shirt that said DoorDash grandma. That was neat. And they were saying that she'd been a DoorDasher since 2022, and she's still DoorDashing. Her husband's recovering from cancer, and this is helping him out. That was awesome. That was great PR, and they did announce that there was a Oval Office press conference, and but they didn't say what it was about. So it was supposed to be a surprise. But I guarantee you, CNN and MS Now, or whatever they want to call them these days, and all the other groups out there, that they wouldn't pay attention to what went on. But it was really good. And man, I hope her husband recovers, and she's doing a great job. It was an honor to meet the president. That had been, the only president I've ever met was President Bush, and President H.W. Bush. But that was really cool. That was a good press conference. All right. So welcome to the JP8 Report. Hope everyone's having a good morning. And as we get started, as I usually say every day, if you have not clicked that follow button, please click it. Become a follower of the JP8 Report. It includes, at no additional cost, JP's Morning Brief. But and then hit the like button for the episode, and then chat with us. None of my hall monitors in here right now. I'm sure they'll be in here sooner or later. But hey, give me a chat. I'll talk to you, or I will respond back. Depends on how engaging the chat is. But it's always good. It gives me a feel of what y'all were interested in talking about and stuff, or wanting me to talk about, since I don't have a co-host with me. And I really have to do something about my entry. I want to get that countdown fixed, and I never seem to have time to do it. But and I need some help doing that. Even though I was in the Signal Corps in the Army, I was a telephone installer, not a computer operator. So I do all this almost on my own. I don't have a producer. I don't have a director. I don't have those gadget guys that all of a sudden, poof, on the corner of the screen, an emoji pops up and stuff. I don't have none. The only thing that I made was a Texas flag, and I had my retired Rob 53. He's one of my really good friends. He's the one that showed me how to do it, and he was the MI in the Army. So, man, we'll leave it at that. Let's get going. We're wasting time. It's 12:03. Let's get going with America 250. Two things happened today. One thing happened today, and I'm going to go over what happened yesterday in 1776. All right, got Covite for life here. There's one of my hall monitors, man. He loves to talk to people, so engage on him. Give him for Richard, since he was in the Navy. Let's give him an American flag just for Richard. All right, there we go. Boom. There you go, man. No Navy jokes for you today, okay? All right. So, this day in 1776, General George Washington arrived in New York City. So, he made his transition from Cambridge, Massachusetts to New York City. Hold on just a second. Make sure I don't have no volumes. I hear something. And, everything's off. Wow. Thought I heard some voice. All right. So you gave yourself an American flag? That's cool, man. That's cool. All right. So, General Washington, he made his way from Cambridge, Massachusetts to New York City to set up his headquarters. Now, and then yesterday, General Washington probably won't hear about this for another week or so. But in Halifax, North Carolina, they produced in their legislature produced the Halifax Resolves, right? And what it did was give their delegates the right to vote for independence. And as the run toward July in the Declaration of Independence was going on, they were the first colony to authorize delegates to vote in that manner. All right. So even though I read this in the morning, it's important, and I'm going to read it again. All right. The Select Committee, taking into consideration the usurpations and violences attempted and committed by the King and Parliament of Britain against America, and the further measures to be taken for frustrating the same and for the better defense of this province, reported as follows, to wit: it appears to your committee that pursuant to the plan concerted by the British Ministry for subjugating America, the King and Parliament of Great Britain have usurped a power over the persons and properties of the people, unlimited and uncontrolled, and disregarding their humble petitions for peace, liberty, and safety, and have made divers legislative acts denouncing war, famine, and every species and calamity daily employed in destroying the people and committing the most horrid devastations on the country. That governors in different colonies have prepared protection to slaves who have imbrued their hands in the blood of their masters, that the ships belonging to America are declared prizes of war, and many of them have been violently seized and confiscated, in consequence of which multitudes of the people have been destroyed, or from easy circumstances reduced to the most lamentable distress. And whereas the moderation hereto manifested by the United Colonies and their sincere desire to be reconciled to their mother country or on constitutional principles, have procured no mitigation of the aforesaid wrongs and usurpations, and no hopes remaining of obtaining redress by those means alone which have been hereto tried. Your committee are of opinion that the House should enter into the following resolve, to wit: resolved that the delegates of this colony in the Continental Congress be empowered to concur with other delegates of the other colonies in declaring independency and forming foreign alliances, resolving to this colony the sole and exclusive right of forming a constitution and laws for this colony, and appointing delegates from time to time under the direction of a general representation thereof, to meet the delegates of the other colonies for such purposes as shall be hereafter pointed out. That was written and passed by the legislature of North Carolina, called the Halifax Resolves, on April 12th, 1776. It's a very powerful document, and I'm going to do a short on this one. This was a good one. All right. Thank y'all for listening to that. All right, here we go. Next. Iran update. Operation Epic Fury. This is the 6th day of the ceasefire. We ought to take bets on how much longer the ceasefire is going to last, because I have a feeling some Iranian vessel is going to try to take a pop shot at a destroyer, and it's going to get sunk. Not the American ship, but the Iranian ship is going to get sunk, and sunk fast. No peace agreement was made after 21 hours of talks. Iran says it will resist all force of action from the Americans. The deal would have been, according to the Iranians, the deal would have been possible if the U.S. stops this totalitarianism. I think they need to look on the mirror on that one, guys. The U.S. says Iran has no leverage in anything they say or do. The blockade started at 10 o'clock this morning, Eastern, and as I saw, there was no attempted running of any blockade, no force of action, no threats of force yet. All right. CENTCOM commander says targeting the Iranian Republican Guard Corps could pay dividends. I concur with that statement. And Trump is frustrated with NATO. Oil. Brent crude oil right now is trading at $101.52 a barrel. That's down over $1 from this morning. West Texas Intermediate. If you were listening to the president's press conference a while ago, he was talking about sweet crude. That's West Texas Intermediate crude. That is $95.01 a barrel. Really, truly, is $94.99 a barrel, because it dropped right when I wrote this down. I was being too lazy. I didn't want to erase it, okay? But at least I give you the true numbers. That's down almost $1 from this morning. And the stock market currently is down 81.56. It's at 47,835 and 1 penny. All right? So that's your Iran update. So here we go. The JP8 report. U.S. and Iran failed to reach peace agreement after marathon talks in Pakistan. Of course, it was 21 hours. Hold on. Anna Kepner. Okay. It's not political. It said, well, if you want to know, since we're all trying to be transparent, you know the young lady that was killed on the cruise ship several months ago, and her stepbrother hid her body underneath the bed in the cabin. Well, they just announced that she was sexually assaulted and then killed. Okay, that's what came across the wires just now. Her name was Anna Kepner. Pray for her family, because that's got to be devastating news to hear. Okay? That's a shame, man. So, Vice President J.D. Vance said the U.S. and Iran failed to strike a peace deal to end the 6-week war rocking the Middle East, blaming Tehran's refusal to give up its nuclear ambitions, leaving uncertainty over whether fighting will resume. Vance delivered a quick hit update after 21 hours of grueling negotiations in Pakistan, noting meaningful discussions were held with Iran, but none that brokered a deal in terms laid out by the U.S. And he said the bad news, and this is a good quote to remember from the vice president. The bad news is that we have not reached an agreement. And I think the bad news for Iran, much more than it's bad news for the United States of America. They have not chosen to accept our terms, so we go back to the United States not coming to an agreement. He said a major sticking point was Iran's refusal to agree refusal to agree to not develop a nuclear weapon or even seeking the tools to build one, insisting the U.S. needed an affirmative commitment on the issue. That's the core goal of the President of the United States, and that's what we've been trying to achieve through these negotiations. Throughout the hour-long talks, and very few details were made available, leaving the world to speculate about what would come about from the last 6 weeks of war. For weeks, the two sides have been far apart on negotiations, and with the Iranians demanding total sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz, over my dead body, the right to enrich uranium, no limits on the ballistic missile program, and reparations for infrastructure damage during the war. No, 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 and then no again. What was the word in Arabic for no? It's la. La, 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 la. I don't know what it is in Farsi, but in Arabic it's la. L-A-A. Hey, and they got my other good friend in there, retired Rob 53. Cool. Hey, welcome, Rob. Hope you're having a good day. I meant to call you earlier, but I got too busy. And then the Trump administration's top priorities are to reopen the strait and allow oil to flow freely and to crush Iran's nuclear enrichment program to stop them from building a nuclear bomb. We were quite accommodating, Vance said, adding that the President Trump told him, make your best effort to strike a deal in good faith. We did that, and unfortunately, we were not able to make any headway. We leave here with a simple protocol, a method of understanding that it is our final and best offer. We'll see if the Iranians accept it. The vice president said he was in constant communication with Trump and U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio during his all-night talks, saying they spoke about a dozen times. Both Trump and Rubio were attending UFC 327 in Miami when Vance made the announcement, and then Vance ignored the post questions about whether 2-week ceasefire is over and the war is back on. And this is from, I believe, when did I print this off? It says April 11th. I printed it April 12th, and the day is April 13th. So this is only a day old. The cool thing about UFC 327 was that during that news conference with Miss DoorDash Grandma, a reporter asked an awesome question. If the UFC that's going to be fought on the lawn of the White House, would it be called UFC 1776? And the president said, that's a really good idea. And he was going to get back with Dana White about it. That would be perfect. Of course, they'd have to remember when they get up there to, whoa, man, they're only on 327 right now. It may be a while before they get to 1776. But that would be a perfect number for that fight. Man, okay. So they didn't reach a peace agreement. There's no timeline for another agreement, for another meeting. Hopefully, it would be sooner rather than later. I don't think the Iranian military could take too much more of this. Of course, they don't have a navy. The president said earlier that they lost 158 ships in 6 weeks fighting the United States. So they don't have a navy. They don't have an air force. They pretty much don't have an air defense artillery. So what's left of the Iranian army? I mean, I saw a deal on X the other day. Said they've only lost 6,000 soldiers. I mean, I was a soldier one time. I could have been one of those 6,000 if it would have happened to the U.S. side. But I would figure there'd be a lot more killed than 6,000 in this conflict. Um, I don't know if y'all got any feelings about what y'all been hearing about what's going on over there. If you do, put it in the live chat for me, okay? Let's see. And then one thing I got to say, I talked a little bit about this morning, and I know there might be a couple people on there who watched what was going on. Um, they're not making any headway with these Iranian negotiators, and every one of them, it looked like a motley crew when they showed up and stuff. And that's all that's left of the first tier of leaders that are probably left alive in the get her done. There you go. You'll like what I'm going to say next, Rob. So if they can't make any headway with these leaders in making an agreement with the United States, maybe we need to take out the rest of that tier and the next tier and finally find a group of people that can actually negotiate with the United States and come to agreement to keep all these people from getting killed. All right. The fact is that they want a nuclear weapon, and you got a lot of these bleeding heart liberals who said no, they want it for energy. In fact, President Obama gave them $1.7 billion to pursue their nuclear energy means. Well, we know what they did with it. They developed missiles, they fed terrorist organizations, and they continue to do extensive research on how to enrich uranium even more so than they already are. And if you hear from them saying that, no, not really, we are just, we want nuclear energy for power for our country, but they're enriching uranium 60 to 90%. There is only one reason to enrich uranium 60% and higher. That is to make a nuclear weapon. And as you know, unofficially, Israel has one. You got China, Great Britain, France. You have Russia, the U.S., right? And then you have India, Pakistan, North Korea, and then Iran wants to join this club, right? And I may have missed it. Georgia town cuts off water access to proposed ice facility. Really? Okay. So if you're not watching live, retired Rob 53 just told me that some Georgia town just cut off the water access to a proposed ice facility in a Republican-led state. So hopefully the governor of the state does something about this most rickety tick. I hope so. So back to the nuclear thing, right? There's only one reason why they want nuclear enrichment at 60% or greater. That's to make a nuclear weapon. This theocracy that they got inside of Iran right now is bound and determined to kill all their enemies, especially the one with the six-pointed star. That would be Israel. They hate Israel. They sworn allegiance to kill Israel. Anything Jewish, they want dead. They're not like the Iranians from 2,500 years ago with Cyrus and them. This theocracy wants to kill the Jewish people, and at the same time, they are not friendly with their neighbors. Over the last 6 weeks, they dumped hundreds of missiles and drones all over Kuwait, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Oman, Israel, Lebanon, Turkey. This is crazy. They are not a rational government that can be negotiated with. And the only thing we can do is keep terminating them until we get to a group of people that says, we're done. And to save the lives of as many Iranian civilians as possible and marshal in a friendly government, right? Now, I was going to talk about this next one right here. It's an article I printed off a couple of days ago about Muqtada Khomeini. He's got a severely disfigured face, and his legs are injured very badly. They said I've heard he's in coma, and I heard he's speaking and listening over VTC. I don't know what the truth of it is until I see proof for life. I really don't care. What I will say is that if he's being cared for at home or at a compound other than a hospital, I would like to hear someone give us the address of where he's staying at. That would be great. We could give him a welcome home package, maybe a Tomahawk missile or something like that, right? Because he is standing in the way of resolving this war. Everyone involved in that theocracy needs to go. I'm not saying all Muslims are bad, because I've served next to them. I've known some Muslims. I do not agree with their religion at all, right? But the theocracy, the council of elected leaders, whatever they call themselves, and the spiritual leader, all that needs to go. They need the president and prime minister. All they're doing is getting a lot of people killed, and they're intending for a lot of people to die, and they just need to do away with that government. Drop as many arms and weapons behind enemy lines, and make sure their AK-47s don't make them M16s, because when they overrun the ROGC positions, they can pick up their ammo and keep going to work, right? Overrun that country all the way. But we should not negotiate with terrorists or that theocratic government at all. Because if we mess around and our Democrats get back in power around here and they say, no, let's negotiate a nuclear deal, they'll be all right and compassionate. And no, they're going to get Americans killed. So the sooner we get done, like a retired Rob put on her wall, get her done. Just knock it out, kill them, glaze over the sand, and make it a parking lot. Because there are too many people hurting right now. With all this is going on, I told y'all just a few minutes ago how much the barrel of oil is. That is affecting the livelihood of a lot of people. I'm retired Army, and I get VA disability. You know what? That's all I have coming in. My fuel cost, I don't go hardly anywhere right now. I'm definitely conservative, but I'm going to make ends meet the way I need to. My fuel cost doubled. So I had to turn the keys off of my truck a little bit. Okay? Carpool with my wife a little bit. Get to spend time with her. All right? So if Miss Khomeini needs a housewarming gift when he leaves the hospital, give it to us, and we can deliver a housewarming gift for him. We just need your address, guy. All right? All right. So, and now the president is asking for people to help with the blockade, right? This is what the president says about the blockade, which started 3.5 hours ago or something like that. This is the Truth Social that he posted. Iran's navy is laying at the bottom of the sea, completely obliterated, 158 ships. What we have not hit are their small number of what they call fast attack ships, because we did not consider them much of a threat. Warning, If any of these ships come anywhere close to our blockade, they will be immediately eliminated using the same system of kill that we are using against drug dealers on the boats at sea. It is quick and brutal. P.S. 98.2% of the drugs coming into the United States by ocean or sea has stopped. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. That was put out this morning on True Social. All right? I say just put them at the bottom of the sea right now. All right? Maybe that'll deter the people in the Caribbean from taking more drugs to the United States. 2-for-1 policy right there, right? So back to this. Let me get set up here. All right. President Trump addressed several pressing international conflicts after stepping off Air Force One yesterday, declaring that the Iranian naval forces have been destroyed of a planned energy blockade and expressing sharp disapproval of NATO and a perceived lack of support. Their military is destroyed. Their navy is underwater. You know that 158 ships are gone. Their navy is gone. Most of their mine droppers are gone. At 10 tomorrow, we have a blockade going into effect. Other nations are working so that Iran will not be able to sell oil. Trump further, and like I said, that blockade is in effect now. All right. Trump further underscored the United States energy independence, asserting that the international vessels are bypassing traditional routes in favor of purchasing American oil, Texas oil, all the way. There are many boats heading toward our country right now to fill up with oil and then go and take it. The president then expressed sharp disapproval of NATO countries, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, indicating America's financial commitment to support the alliance is going to be under very serious examination. But I'm very disappointed in NATO. They weren't there for us, and we paid trillions of dollars for NATO, and they weren't here for us. While NATO countries are stepping up to assist the U.S., Trump described the effort as too late. Now they want to come up. Now there's no real threat anymore. President's right. Friends help friends out. I scratch your back, you scratch my back. We've been with them for decades, to the mid-40s when the NATO North Atlantic Treaty was first signed. We would like a little bit of help. Just a little bit. Because I would put it like this. Before Iran is able to launch a nuclear missile at the United States and achieve that range to attack the U.S., first the range is going to be able to hit Europe first. So, you might want to think about the depth of ranges for these missiles. They may be able to hit you before they're able to hit us. All right? But I didn't hear anything, any updates. Okay. All right. So next. This was the title of my podcast. From a politician I dearly do not like at all. Fang, bang, bang, a.k.a. Eric Swalwell, right? So Eric Swalwell quit today from the California governor's race. It came out this weekend that he admitted. He said he's had several affairs. Allegedly, he's had several affairs. There was a video that came out with him groping some 90% undressed woman that looked like she was totally drunk in a motel room with another guy, and it was caught all on video. I think there was 3 people in the room besides the young lady, right? There was allegations from this other lady that Yeah, he should resign from Congress. Uh, well, hey Rob, I tell you, he shouldn't just resign from Congress. He needs to be thrown out of Congress and not able to come back. I wish they could be. They'd have to be able to impeach him or something. But there, and I'm going to get to that in just a minute. You'll see what I'm going to be talking about. But so he said, I'm suspending my campaign for governor. Those great people from California. What do you think about that, Rob? Um, to my family, staff, friends, and supporters, I am truly sorry for mistakes and judgment I've made in my past. I will fight the serious false accusations that have been made. That's my fight, not my campaign's. Talking about campaign, he had a Brazilian housekeeper that was an illegal alien, and he was using campaign funds to pay her under the table. Think about that, right? And that spurred a Department of Homeland Security investigation that just got kicked off yesterday. The decision comes as pressure mounted over sexual assault allegations published in a bombshell report in the San Francisco Chronicle on Friday, with lawmakers from both parties calling on him to drop out of the race and resign from Congress. He dropped out of the race, but he said he's not dropping out of Congress. Watch, he'll do that while we're on air. Steve Hilton, there we go. So, with figures calling on Swalwell to step aside, included former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Senator Adam Schiff, Senator Ruben Gallego, the the state Democrat Party in California asked him to step down, and it comes a whole lot of people want him gone, right? Ted Lieu asked him. He said he pulled his endorsement. Matter of fact, if you look on Eric Swalwell's campaign page, and I'm not telling y'all to go to his campaign page because all you're going to do is increase the algorithm that more people go to it. And he'll say, well, people are going to my page. I must still be popular, so I'm going to change my mind and stay in. Just don't touch it. No touchy. All right? But he took his endorsement page down so he couldn't show how many people withdrew their endorsement of him for running for governor. If you look at the current polls, this is what you got. You have Steve Hilton in first place, and you have Chad Bianco second place. Both of them are Republicans. Next, you had Eric Swalwell. Fourth, you had Katie Porter, and then fifth, you had some guy. I believe he used to be with Starbucks or something like that. I can't remember what his name is, but so Eric Swalwell drops out. So when the last polls were going out, had Hilton at 17%, and then Bianco at 16%, and then they had Eric Swalwell like at 13%, and Katie Porter several percent under that. Okay, so Katie Porter, do not think that woman is electable. She is not. She is a monster. Do you know that? And this has been verified. You know, Katie Porter, she's a former congresswoman. She got beat. She got in an argument with her ex-husband. All right? She got in an argument with her ex-husband and threw a bowl of hot mashed potatoes on his head and then punched him. Burned his head and then punched him in the face because he criticized on how she was disciplining her kids. And she wants to run for governor. This is our chance to secure first and second place in the June 2nd. And, y'all Republicans in California need to get off your fourth point of contact and get. If you don't know what your fourth point of contact is, I'll save you the time from looking up. It's your butt, okay? All right. So that's Army terminology, especially for my buddies out there that are airborne. You got your first, second, third, and fourth points of contact. Fifth point of contact is your calf, right? But so your Republicans need to stop fighting beyond in between Hilton and Bianco, and y'all need to secure your first and second position, and then go full force at any Democrat that's still in the race, and keep them down as far as possible, right? Win the primary, and then y'all two fight it out amongst each other. Who's going to be the next governor? That's the best solution I have for y'all guys. And personally, I like Steve Hilton the best. I really hope he can pull it out. He did. Those two guys, Steve and Chad, y'all do not need to get mixed up in the fray of what is Fang, Fang, Bang, Bang. Let him wither away and no one sees him ever again. All right? Man, it's already 12:40. I've only gone 2 subjects, and I'm not even done. Okay, so the man, where is it? Oh yeah, here we go. Yep, right here. All right. So what I was going to tell you, Rob, about Steve Hilton, all right? And don't get too far involved in what's going on with resignation from Congress, from Swalwell and stuff. So Representative Anna Paulina Luna, she's a hotshot former Air Force woman that's a congresswoman in Florida, right? You never want to cross her. Okay, so this article is to push to forcibly remove multiple scandal-ridden members of Congress is picking up steam with several potential expulsions. Several. That's more than one. That's more than 2. That's 3 or more, right? Hold on just a second. Okay. So the lineup for people to be kicked out of Congress this week, it looks like. This is unbelievable. I haven't, year like one every 2 to 3 Congresses, right? Eric Swalwell, he's probably going to end up going to jail. Tony Gonzalez, he's in the same shoes as Eric Swalwell, right? If you did not know about Tony Gonzalez, he's a congressman from the San Antonio area that goes all the way to the Rio Grande. He had an affair. He had an actual affair, and the girl he had an affair with burned herself alive, and she died. And the only thing out of that is he got himself in a runoff against Brandon Williams, and then when all this erupted, he said, I'm going to drop out of the runoff. So he's a lame duck now, but he needs to leave. So we have a Democrat and a Republican, right? Next, you have another Democrat. The other Democrat is, and the winner is, hold it, because I have it here. Sheila Seraflis McCormick, Democrat from Florida. She's a lady that stole like $8 million from disaster relief funds to fund her congressional campaign. She thought it was legal to do that. She defrauded taxpayers of their money to run for Congress for $8 million. She's already been indicted. She's about to go to trial. She took an ethics trial in the House, was found guilty of 25 out of 26 charges. She's toast. She's just like Eric Swalwell. So you have now 2 Democrats and 1 Republican. But wait, there's more. Let's even up the odds, right? Corey Mills, Republican from Florida. You know, I'm a staunch Republican. That guy's really conservative. But let's see what they write in here about Corey Mills. Hold it. Let's see. The House Democrat leadership has indicated they will withhold judgment on McCormick until ethics panel announces this decision. And then it says Mills, a former Army combat veteran, has faced a myriad of controversies, including alleged misrepresenting his military service, domestic violence, and threatening to release sexually explicit photos of a former girlfriend, and abusing his committee assignments to benefit defense contracting firms he owns. He is also the target of a House Ethics Committee investigation. And then both McCormick and Mills are both running for re-election. Okay, so Mills isn't all what he is. You know, I have another article in here that I want to read about, and I don't think I'm going to have time to do it. I might have to spill that over. No, I might do it really quick. Okay, Mills isn't all what he seems to be, right? He makes himself out to be some special forces soldier, got all these medals to show for it, all this stuff. He's got all this combat time and stuff. I did an article on him a few months ago about when he was being seen about the ethics committee. He's lying through his teeth. There's nothing in this world I can't stand more than someone that's stolen valor. And this is a shining, bright, shining example of stolen valor. And if you don't know what stolen valor is, you can go look it up, or I'll tell you, it's someone that misrepresents their time of service, whether it be how they served, where they served, or medals that they did not earn and they put them on their uniform, or their rank, like Tim Walz in Minnesota with his, oh, I'm a retired sergeant major. No, you're a retired master sergeant, you stupid governor. Man, I'm glad you're not running for re-election either. So you have Swalwell, and then you have Gonzalez, then you have McCormick, then you have Mills. All four of them within the next week may be looking for jobs at McDonald's or Burger King. So if you need a job and you want to apply at one of those places, you might want to do it before they have to go apply for one and try to beat you out of a job. All right? Well, I don't know if they'll let Swalwell work at a McDonald's, especially in California. All right. So, whew. Oh my goodness, man. Let me take a break here. Let me see if I could read something here real quick. If it'll let me. Everything is still dim. Oh, because I got 9 people on. All right. So next, Artemis 2. Here's a bit of good news. Artemis 2 splashed down Friday evening with absolutely the only problem they had with Artemis 2 with the integrity module was their telephone, and that's all. Everything went to plan exactly how it needed to go, and Director Isaacson, I think that's his name is, with NASA. He announced they've already spun up and they're well underway getting ready for Artemis 3. And Artemis 3 is not going to be one of those that's going to loop around the moon. They're just going to do a low Earth orbit, and they're going to be doing intensive project adaptations to where when they go to the moon, they'll be going to the South Pole when they do the moon lander. And they said that's going to be a several-day excursion in orbit. And then Artemis 4 and Artemis 5 will go to the moon in 2028, which is less than 2 years away. All right. All right. So, hey, Rob. Okay, Rob made a joke about, and I was in Vietnam. Not. So what what Rob was talking about in the live chat was that Senator Richard Blumenthal from Connecticut was is an Army veteran. But when he initially ran for the United States Senate, Senator Blumenthal told everybody he was a Vietnam veteran. And it came out where he lied through his teeth. I cannot believe he actually got elected, but he was stationed on Guam, right? That's like 2,500 miles from Vietnam. And all he did was provide support for soldiers and military personnel going into Vietnam. That's all. He never stepped foot in the country of Vietnam. That's like no, I won't go there. No, I won't go there. Get myself in a whole heap of trouble. But yeah, that's what he was talking about. But yeah, because Rob joined the army. Hey Rob, I know you're on there. You joined the army in 1973, right? Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Which I can't believe I was 5 years old in 1973. So that was really cool news. And then we're going to continue on with the Stolen Valor jump. One more story before we close out for the day. It's 12:50 already. Wes Moore. I covered this a little bit this morning. Okay, Wes Moore was Wes Moore is the governor of Maryland, right? And he's an Army veteran also, 1974. Okay. Um, so he was in the Army. He was in Afghanistan, right? Uh, so in when he received the Bronze Star in 2024, but he was putting in a fellow to be a White House fellow in 2022 or something like that, right? And he okay, let me read this, okay, because I want to get my facts right. Let's see, the Baltimore Sun, which was purchased by Sinclair in 2024, is reportedly examining Wes Moore's military record, uh, scholarship, sports tenure, and other parts of his background, right? And actually, it's a very sad day for the Baltimore Sun. Who cares about that? Moore, who has downplayed talks of a 2028 presidential bid, has previously faced scrutiny for listing a Bronze Star on a Bush-era White House fellowship application before he received the reward. Um, oh, oh man, you're killing me, Rob. Oh man. Yeah, hey, if y'all, I really wish the live chat would stay on after this. We have some forgiving military veterans in our chat. Oh my goodness, I thought I was bad. But I have Covite for life. I love catching vets, especially the Rambos. Yeah. Let's see. Moore, who has downplayed talks of the 2028 presidential bid, has previously faced scrutiny for listing a Bronze Star on a Bush-era White House fellow application before he received the award, as well as questions about the depth of his Baltimore roots during his 2022 race against then Governor Larry Hogan. Moore ultimately received the Bronze Star in 2024. That's 2 years after he got elected a governor. I guess you can get Bronze Star for being governor now. You've had MAGA billionaire who is now running currying favor for President Trump in utilizing what used to be a prized paper for our region and now turning it into something that is not much more than right-wing drivel. Moore said. The governor added that Army members he served with don't question his integrity in the same way that Smith is the canary in the coal mine for wealthy conservatives trying to use their resources to please Trump. The interview, which elicited a lengthy rebuttal of the managing editor of the Smith-linked outlet investigating Moore, Spotlight on Maryland. The outlet is in collaboration with Sinclair-owned Fox affiliate and ABC affiliate in Washington. The Democrats sure are putting a lot of work to discredit a series even before it started running. That alone should raise a question why. Woodall claimed Moore's office threatened to disseminate files on every media reporter to try to discredit her investigation. We saw the same playbook in 2022 when a Fox 45 reporter asked Moore why he claims that he received a Bronze Star that he didn't have at the time. The team accused the reporter and the media outlet of bias and a smear campaign. Right is right and wrong is wrong. If it wasn't awarded to you, you shouldn't have it on your uniform. You know, there was an Admiral Mike Borda, I think that's his name was. He was a naval chief of naval operations back in the early 90s, right? And he had put a V device on one of his medals and was found out by Colonel David Hackworth, which was the most decorated soldier in the United States military, in the history of the military, right? And he put him on blast about why he had a V device on one of his medals, in which he never earned. And Admiral Mike Borda went and killed himself. And he was right. He did not earn that V device. And, you know, I'm not telling the governor to go do something like that. That's a temporary solution to that was a permanent solution to a temporary problem. You should never do something like that, ever. But he was so embarrassed about the dishonor and the disvalor that he showed his branch of service and his country that he ended his life because he did something wrong. That is something you should never fake, ever, is the service of your country and the medals that you receive. Because there are a lot of people that died for the country that don't get nothing but a flag and a Purple Heart. And you want to fake the funk and put a Bronze Star in your uniform that you earned 15 years later. Really? This is unbelievable and unacceptable. And now he's trying to extort the Baltimore Sun because it's one of the very few conservative papers in the whole United States. You know, I'll continue to read this a little bit. It's a tough job. Clinton almost got blown away. Come on, dudes, stop it. I know what you're talking about. Clinton, she was in Sarajevo and thought that she was being mortared. Yeah, I remember. Man, and I just said it on my... Yeah, y'all are killing me, guys. We're going to have to get together for lunch real soon. Just get together for lunch like at Little Tex or something after the podcast is over. That sounds like a cool thing to do. Not tomorrow, because we got the Four Cs tomorrow. Let's see. 2 years later, the New York Times wrote about the Bronze Star Moore hadn't received. The narrative changed, and the governor said it was an honest mistake. In August 2024 statement on his military record, Moore acknowledged he knew before leaving Afghanistan, he had not received the award. In that statement, like I said this morning, I was supposed to receive a Bronze Star when I left Iraq, and I didn't. I got a Meritorious Service Medal. I didn't change my 2-1 or my 638 to make it look like I got a Bronze Star. I was humble that I received what I got. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. Maybe, Mr. Moore, you didn't deserve a Bronze Star. Maybe you deserve an ARCOM or a Meritorious Service Medal, or maybe a Certificate of Achievement, right? And oh my goodness, man. Okay, guys, y'all got me rolling really hard here. In that statement, Moore said his deputy brigade commander encouraged him to apply for a White House fellowship and simultaneously recommended him for a Bronze Star and told him to include it with his application. Is that pay for play or what? He added that his OER, Officer Evaluation Report, his superiors ranked him in the top 1% of Operation Enduring Freedom officers and called him the best lieutenant I've ever encountered. In the top 1% of OEF officers? That's stupid. He's a lieutenant. You know what lieutenants do? Lieutenants listens to their platoon sergeants and their first sergeants. That's all lieutenants do. There is no lieutenant out there that is in the top 1% of their field at all. Yeah, you can ask these other guys we have a Navy guy here and an Army guy. An ensign in the Navy, what do? They'll listen to their LPOs, and lieutenants in the Army, what do? They listen to their platoon sergeants and their first sergeants. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. Y'all let me know. All right? Oh my goodness, man. This guy, if Wes Moore runs for president, he is going to get hammered. He will personally get hammered so bad. How do you... So he served in the Army during the Bush administration. He applied for a White House fellow while he was still... The brigade commander, deputy brigade commander submitted... How? Okay. I'm going to end up with this. He's a lieutenant, probably in a line unit. How does the deputy brigade commander file a Bronze Star for service, because it wasn't for valor? How does he recommend a Bronze Star for service for a lieutenant in line? What happened? A deputy brigade commander not even in the chain of command for that officer. So you had the battalion commander, and then you had the company commander, and the XO, and then the first lieutenant. Like 4 different layers of chain of command, and the guy's not even in his chain of command, but he wrote him up on a DA 638 for a Bronze Star for service. There's a whole bunch of smell. You know what? That smells like a deer that's been dead for 2 weeks on the side of the road. That's how bad that smells. And with that, I'm not even going to finish up. I'll tear this stuff up again tomorrow. All right. If you are looking for me, you'll find me back here at 6:30 tomorrow morning. Hopefully a lot calmer than I already am, because this stinks. Oh my goodness. Really? Oh. You know what? I would love to do. Well, you know what? I'm still here. Hold on. Don't get offline yet, okay, guys? Let's see. What branch of the Army was Governor Westmore assigned to. Let's see. Governor Westmore served in the U.S. Army, specifically as a captain and a paratrooper in 82nd Airborne, where he was a commissioned officer who led soldiers in combat in 2005 deployment in Afghanistan, where he worked with the Civil Affairs Unit. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness, man! Oh. Okay. My hat's off to him being in the 82nd. But that's all jacked up that he was in a Civil Affairs Unit. It ain't like he was in the 2nd Brigade 325 Parachute Infantry Regiment or anything like that. All right? In the, I forgot the other brigades they got there and stuff. He's lying. He's lying to his teeth. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, I got 2 final comments on there from Covite for Life. It's a tough job. Clinton almost got blown away. Yep, in Sarajevo. And then he puts in there, no, they get taught their job by a senior chief. See, he is right. Richard is right. An ensign in the Navy gets taught by a senior chief, which is an EA. You know, they sit down, shut up, and they color in a coloring book. That's all. Because if you don't learn properly from your NCOs, you will fail. Right? All right. So that was fun day today. I appreciate that. Let me get back over here to my Rumble studio so I know what's going on. All right. So, hey, this is, I had fun today. Y'all, this is a couple of things that's going on. Let's get back down to real business here. Yeah. Just so you know, in the Texas scorecard this morning, there was a 6-5 vote in I think the Rules Committee of the Texas House that fined all the AWOL Democrats in the last legislative session like $86 or $8,300 for $500 a day for going AWOL and causing 2 special sessions to be called, right? So that's a lot of, like, on the average of $8,300 or something. Each one of them has to pay back the state of Texas. Tomorrow, we have the Coppers Cove Conservative Club at Giovanni's in Coppers Cove at 6 p.m. We should be having all the runoff county commissioner races there, plus what do you call them? The county judge. I invited 6 people. Hopefully 6 people show up. All y'all that are listening are invited to come if y'all want. It's here in Coppers Cove at Giovanni's at 6 p.m. And then the 2nd of May and the 12th of May is Coryell County Republican Party. The 2nd of May is in Gatesville at the Food Bin. Is it the Feed Bin? The Feed Bin over by Town Square. And that's going to be a meet and greet at 11 o'clock in the morning. And then on the 12th of May is going to be a conjunction between the Coryell County Republican Party and the Coppers Cove Conservative Club at Giovanni's at 6 p.m. We're going to have a combined meet and greet there too. And we are trying to get Shelby Slauson to be there also. That would be great if we could do that. All right? So, y'all, the first I announced that I'm trying to get Shelby there. I should be finding out this week if that's possible or not. So, that being said, Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. for JP's morning brief. It only lasts 30 minutes. And then in the evening time, at noon, is the JP8 report, Monday through Friday. And don't forget, this Wednesday morning, there will be no morning brief because I got VA labs. They got to suck blood out of my arm for test. Okay, pray for me on that too. All right. So I hope everybody has a good afternoon. And this is James Pierce with the JP8 report. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.